Hello coin collectors out there, welcome back to the Big D Coins channel. It's week number 3 in the State Quarter series. Now those of you who remember in the first video I recorded for the State Quarter series that I'm going to be doing every Tuesday, I mentioned that I'll also be doing America the Beautiful quarters. So America the Beautiful quarters started when the State Quarter series ended, and in today's video we're going to talk about 2015 America the Beautiful quarters, as there are many known errors out there. So before we get into that, I wanted to give my coin collecting tip of the day, and that is to get yourself a nice folder or something that looks something like this. A folder, collector, binder. So this one's very nice. It's got some nice imagery on the front. This is the National Parks quarters from 2010 until 2021. Now you can buy these online for very inexpensive. You can also buy them used. I didn't realize this, but I looked at my local coin shop, saw that they had some of these binders. They look like they're a little bit worn out. That's because they were used. Someone had started to build their own collection, then must have gave up on the collection, spent all their quarters, and sold the binder back to the coin shop, and the coin shop was selling them to me for $1. So instead of buying them for $5 online, you can buy them for $1 at your local coin shop. You can probably even buy them online used, and that will save you a little bit of money. There's no real difference between the worn out ones and the brand new ones. The key for these binders is the coins that you put in them, not the quality of the binder or the folder itself. All right, now let's get into it. So we have the 2015 State Quarters here. Now there were 2015 America the Beautiful quarters. There are 5 quarters made. We're going to briefly talk about all 5 of them. Then I'm going to remove 2 of them and talk about 3 different error coins. Now 2015 must have been a very bad year for the Philadelphia Mint, because there are so many different error coins that are known out there. So let's first talk about the coins that we're not going to be mentioning too much today. This one up here is the Kitchita America the Beautiful quarter, representing Louisiana. So what you see on the reverse here is the design features a wild turkey over a blue stem grass with long leaf pine in the background. So that's what we're looking at right here. We'll get this out of the way. 2015 Kitchita representing Louisiana. And then this one right here, 2015 North Carolina Blue Ridge Parkway. What you see on the reverse right here, the design depicts the grace and curative of the road hugging alongside a mountain with the North Carolina state flower in the background. So we've got some North Carolina state flower right there, a nice road hugging the side of a mountain. Now we'll remove these 2 and focus in on these 3 right here. There might be other errors for those out there, but we really would just want to focus in on these 3 for this particular video. Now the 3 that we'll be focusing in on, the first one, the one up here, which has the most known errors, is the Homestead Quarter, representing Nebraska. Now I'll do my best to kind of give you a brief overview of where to look for these particular errors, but there are going to be some that I just skip over or don't even know about myself. So if I don't know about the error, I can't pass it along to you, unfortunately. So for the Homestead Quarter, the reverse design that you see right here, the design represents the 3 fundamentals of survival common to all homesteaders: food, shelter, and water. So we've got all 3 of those. Now there are many known errors out there. There are many cuds out there. So cuds are a little bit of kind of a raised extra blob on the coin. There are some that are located at the very top. And interestingly, since there are so many errors with the Homestead Quarter, they all have pretty cool nicknames. So if you look at the top and there's a extra cut at the very top, I've got a magnifying glass to kind of help me out. So that at the top located, that's going to be known as the chimney die cut error. There are also some die cuts located on the roof, along the side of the roof. That's going to be known as the snow on the roof error. Now there's also located at the top of the coin, there's also a die crack that runs from the edge right there down to the roof of the coin. That's going to be known as lightning on the roof. Now all of these have pretty cool nicknames, so I really like it. Now down here at the bucket, so the bucket representing one of the essentials, which is water. So there's some extra kind of die cuts located at the bottom of the bucket, which have been nicknamed the Leaky Bucket. There's also some doubling that occurs on the pump of the coin. right here and on the corn ears on the side. And if you look at the windows, so if you look, this is the best zoom I can do for you, but there's some doubling that occurs with these window panes. So the window panes, they look like examples of kind of frost or snow on the windows. Now there are some very fine details for this particular coin, so that's kind of one of the reasons why it's so susceptible to having so many errors out there. So I just listed off a few of them. I might need to do a separate video that covers all of these errors, but those are some very cool ones that exist out there. So there's the leaky bucket, there's the lightning over the cabin, there's the snow on the roof, and then there's some examples of doubling on the windows that look like frost. So that's all the time I kind of allocated to this particular coin. I want to get through the Bombay hook and the Saratoga one as well. So keep your eye out there for the 2015 Homestead. Get a nice magnifying glass so you can help you catch those errors. Now moving on to the Bombay hook representing Delaware. So what we see with this quarter, which represents Delaware, is some doubling. Now there's some doubling that exists with the different blades of grass. Now whenever you see blades of grass, it's kind of susceptible to doubling, as that's kind of the finer details. So what you want to see is some doubling that's actually going in the reverse direction of what it should be. So doubling right there that connects that top section of grass to that middle section of grass right there. So on the reverse design, what we see right here is a blue heron in the foreground, which is this bird, and a great egret in the background. Now Bombay hook represents Delaware, so look for that extra blades of grass that you see in between those two sections that we looked at, going the wrong way. And then the third in the error quarters that we're talking about today, for representing Saratoga, New York, we have this quarter right here. So the design that we see on the reverse depicts a close-up of the moment General John Burgoyne surrendered his sword to General Horatio Gates. A turning point, many believe, marked the beginning of the end of the American Revolutionary War. Now what exists for this coin is, if you look at the top right here, there are known examples of die cuts that exist in between the fingers, this person's fingers right here, and the sword itself. So it's a die cut or a die chip. I'm not sure the exact one. It might be both actually. So you might recognize the BIE errors, where there looks like kind of a phantom I in between B and E in Liberty. Those are located on the pennies. I made a couple of videos about those. So that's going to be the same type of error coin here. So look for, on the Saratoga quarter, look in between the fingers and the sword for an extra piece of metal, extra raised level right there. All right, that's all the time we've got for today. Just to recap, we talked about the errors related to Saratoga, Bombay hook, and Homestead. Now I might need to make a separate video about Homestead just because there are so many known errors out there. We didn't really get into the Blue Ridge Parkway or the Kitchita just because the errors for these ones aren't as prevalent, so we kind of skipped over them. All right, everyone, that's all the time I've got for today. Thank you very much, and best of luck coin collecting out there, everyone. Enjoy.